Victor Wembanyama is the most hyped up rookie since LeBron James, and if you ask me, he's been living up to the hype so far. But as cool as his highlight moments are, we've got bigger things at hand, so we're giving LeBron's career to Victor Wembanyama. And of course, after being selected first to the Cavs, Wemby's new career in Cleveland would begin.
Pull up on your bitch and hit her with the "Is you ready?" hug. Rude Chris came a long way from spaghetti. Unky went and got his Prezi froze off a heavy love. If they try and block me at the rim, turn my jelly on. Feeling like Poseidon, watch the fit drip. Shooter pull up with a mullet like he Rick Smith. Shooter pull up just to pull it, then he switch clip. They don't want to see me touch down, trying to squib kick.
But even though things looked good at first, Wemby inevitably faced some struggles. It was his first year in the league, and at this point in time, no rookie had ever been faced with more pressure than him. And to make matters worse, his team wasn't the best. There were some solid guys, but nobody that would really help too much in the long run. As the season went on, Wemby started to show some really promising signs, leading his team to regular season wins over some pretty good teams with some early 2000s superstars. As his rookie campaign came to a close, the Cavs weren't in playoff contention, but Wemby really kept coming into his own. He won Rookie of the Year while averaging 25 and 9, and he carried that momentum into his second season, where he jumped from an 84 overall to an 88, allowing him to improve in each statistical category. He averaged 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game, and the Cavs had a better regular season because of this. And considering Victor was averaging more than LeBron did to this point, it was clear that although the Cavs still weren't able to make the playoffs, they were at least on the right track. And of course, all progression is good progression, but Victor wasn't satisfied, which is good for him and the Cavs. He got in the gym in the offseason, putting in a ton of extra work, and so far throughout his career, he was handling the pressure pretty well. He made his way up to a 95 overall since the beginning of last season, and that's huge for his team. They have a true superstar now, and someone to look to lead them to potential championships down the road. But unfortunately for the Cavs, they wouldn't begin that road to a championship just yet. Victor still improved, but the Cavaliers missed the playoffs by just a couple games, so in the next season, Victor knew he simply had to do more. He still progressed like normal and did everything he could, all in hopes that in this season, it would be enough to just get a playoff spot. But like I mentioned earlier, his supporting cast isn't the best, and that had shown through in every season, including this one. It was just another playoffless season for the Cavs, and this definitely wasn't a good sign. I mean, Victor is the most hyped up and highly regarded rookie in NBA history at this time, and he can't even lead his team to the playoffs. Everyone started doubting Victor, and it seemed like there was no light at the end of the tunnel for him. But in Season 5, all of that changed. Victor started dominating the league, and this was clear as he won his first MVP of his career. He was able to put up insane numbers at 27, 16, and 6, which is remarkable for any player, let alone someone in only his 5th year. And as most would assume, this was finally good enough for Victor and the Cavs to earn a trip to the playoffs, where they'd be up against the Wizards in the first round, and the Cavs didn't have many issues here, as they took the series in 6 games, with their next opponent being none other than the Chicago Bulls, who we didn't beat at all in the regular season, like not even once. And honestly, as prepared as I was to tell you it would be more of the same, playoff Wemby came into effect, leading his team to the 4-1 series win, officially proving to his team and the league that he's ready to take over. And after a quick Western Conference final sweep against the Bobcats, Victor found himself in the finals for the first time, ironically against his real-life team, the Spurs. But of course, this Spurs team is a lot different than the current Spurs team, and they're led by their Hall of Fame trio, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Monty Ginobili. These 3 superstars applied pressure to Victor and the Cavs all series long, giving him his biggest challenge yet. But unfortunately for Victor, in an eventful series, the Spurs' firepower was too much for the Cavs, and Victor would walk away ringless for this season. It's definitely a tough task going up against a big 3 with so much talent when you don't have much talent on your own side. But don't forget, this is LeBron's career, and Victor will be forming a big 3 of his own pretty soon. But for now, he's got 2 seasons left in Cleveland, and of course, Victor wants to make the best of them. He started off this season doing a good job of that by once again leading his team to a winning season and himself an award-winning season, picking up his second MVP, which makes him the back-to-back recipient of the award. That's of course great news for Victor, as he really is trying his best to take the current team he has as far as possible, but the real challenge would be in the playoffs, where he'd face off against the Bulls, led by Derrick Rose in the first round. But to keep it short, the Cavs didn't face any problems at all, as they took the sweep and were now up against the Magic, who in real life made it to the finals this year, so of course this round was more challenging. And it was so much more challenging that the series would come down to a close Game 7 with the season on the line for both teams. It's a close one right now, and honestly, the Magic really need something on this possession if they want to win. Jameer Nelson pulls up for the mid-range. He misses it. Varejao gets the board. Doesn't look like the Magic are going to foul right here. But honestly, the game's probably over. The game was over, and thankfully, the Cavs season wasn't. They faced off against the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, and to be honest, the Pistons couldn't keep up at all, and the Cavs took the sweep, making it back to the finals. But this time around, they were up against the Lakers, who won the finals in real life this year. This series was one for the ages, and was a hard-fought battle between both teams. Yeah, I lied. Victor got cooked by Kobe and Pau. But as unfortunate as this was, Victor wouldn't dwell on it too much, because in a nutshell, he had another great season and was back in the finals for the third time in his career, still looking for his first ring. Once again, he was up against the Lakers in the finals, but this time around it was different. Victor had a chip on his shoulder because of what happened last season, and on top of that, he was more familiar with the Lakers game too, because, well, I mean, he got 4-0'd by them the year before. The series was more competitive than last year, and this showed as the Cavs took 3 of the first 4 games of the series, and Victor finally had his first real chance to win his first ring, and if he pulls it off, this would put him in front of LeBron in real life to this point.
And this game literally might come down to the last shot here. Less than 10 seconds left. Kobe has the ball, championship on the line to Bynum. Down low, he's guarded by Shaq. Can he make it? No, Shaq gets the stop. He gets the board, and he's going to the free throw line. And Shaq's first free throw, oh my God, he hit it. And Shaq's second free throw, if he hits it, the Cavs win the ring. He misses it. The Lakers get the board. They call the timeout, and they have one last chance for it. Ron Artest taking it out. Derek Fisher wide open in the short corner. He doesn't shoot it. He doesn't get a shot up. What is he doing? He just pump faked. That was what? I'm like in shock. And on top of it, he's celebrating with the Cavs. He's the hero of this series. He just gave the ring to the Cavaliers.
And just like that, after Derek Fisher literally threw the series in something I've never seen before, Victor won his first ring of his career and first finals MVP of his career as well. And like I mentioned earlier, this officially put him a little bit in front of LeBron, who in real life had 0 rings to this point. And with the 2011 season finally here, Victor ended his first stint with the Cavs on a high note and took his talents to South Beach, forming a super team with 2 Hall of Fame players, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. This team is absolutely stacked, and it's like nothing we've ever seen before. And of course, to no one's surprise, this team made it to the finals, facing off against the Mavericks, and they had a relatively easy time in the series, taking the 4-2 win, giving Victor not only another ring, but another finals MVP as well. The following season was yet another one full of winning, and it was clear on the court that the chemistry of Victor, Wade, and Bosh was off the charts. This, of course, led to another finals appearance, and you guessed it, another finals win. Victor won a ring, he won finals MVP, and at this point in time, it was his league. Victor's now in his 10th season, he's a 3-time champion, and this season, he's looking to make an even bigger mark on NBA history than he already has by becoming one of the few players to ever 4-peat. And to be honest, as much as I'd like to tell you that the Heat faced some adversity along the way, or Victor was having some struggles just to make it a bit more interesting, I can't do that. This super team really is too much for the rest of the league to handle, and that showed in this year's finals matchup against the Spurs, as the Heat took the clean 4-0 sweep, giving Miami their 3rd ring in a row and Victor his 4th in a row. And with that 4th ring, this officially tied LeBron James' ring count in real life in only Victor's 10th season. But unfortunately, as we all know, all good things must come to an end, and right now, it's Victor's last season with the Heat, and it was not only his time in Miami coming to an end, but their streak of winning as well. The Heat had a pretty noticeable drop-off in regular season success, finishing in only the 3rd seed, and their season ended earlier than previous years as they lost in the conference finals to the Pacers. At this point, after not being able to leave Miami on a high note, Victor was now back in Cleveland this season, trying to give things another shot in the place he'd spent most of his career thus far. He said goodbye to his Miami super team and was now on a team that I wouldn't call a super team necessarily, but definitely a good team capable of winning some championships down the road. But unfortunately, we wouldn't get too close to one of those until 2017, where Victor and the Cavs were up against the Warriors, who at the time had one of the most insane rosters in NBA history. They've got a ton of firepower and shooting ability, and to be honest, Victor and the Cavs had their work cut out for them. The Cavs and the Warriors split the first 4 games of the series, making it 2-2, with the Cavs just barely hanging on in the games that they won. After this, it would be Kevin Durant taking over the series, bucket after bucket, tough shot after tough shot, and he was honestly making a fool out of Victor every time he was on it. This, of course, led to the Warriors winning the championship, and just as easily as Victor had 4 championship winning years in a row, he now just completed his 4th in a row without a championship directly after. Losing is never fun for anyone, but things would get even worse as Kyrie left Cleveland for Boston, and if the Cavs couldn't get it done with Kyrie, the chances were low that they'd get it done without him. And to no one's surprise, this proved true as the season went on and the losing continued. Victor's individual stats increased this season, but in the end, it wasn't enough for that 5th ring that would put Victor's ring count over LeBron's. With Kyrie now gone and a bunch of ringless seasons in a row, Victor decided it was time for a change during this last stretch of his career, and he'd head out to LA to join a pretty underwhelming team with no real chance of winning a championship yet. And honestly, I should say 0 chance of winning a championship championship because the Lakers didn't even make it to the playoffs this year. But help was on the way. The Lakers realized that with Victor now on the team, they had a real chance at some future championships. They got Victor some help and acquired Anthony Davis along with some other solid role players. Of course, this was enough to get the Lakers not only back to the playoffs, but back to the finals, where ironically they'd be up against the Miami Heat just like they were in real life, only this time they wouldn't be in the bubble. Victor only needed one more ring to surpass LeBron in championships won, and in this final series, he played like he knew what was on the line. He really took it to another level, which made everyone around him play at a higher level too, and Victor and AD's chemistry was insane. In the end, the Lakers took the series, with Victor winning Finals MVP, and most importantly, his 5th ring. The Lakers took a hit in the following season, not seeing nearly as much success. They were still a pretty solid team, and they made the playoffs in the 5th seed, but at this point, Victor's getting older, and it starts to show as the Lakers lost in the first round, and in the following season, they missed the playoffs entirely. However, that season wasn't a complete failure because Victor became the #1 all-time leading scorer in NBA history. And with that, Victor, who is now in his 20th year in the league, was even hungrier for redemption in the 2023 season, and he would of course work hard like we've typically seen throughout the sim, all in an attempt to find one last spark to get back to the finals, but unfortunately for him, his age is really starting to show. The Lakers earned a play-in game, but they lost, and just like that season was over. The 39-year-old Victor was now in his last season of the video, since we aren't sure if LeBron will be retiring after this season or waiting it out to play with Bronny. But regardless, it seems as if Victor's days of winning championships was pretty much over. He had a great individual season, putting up solid numbers of 25, 9, and 4, but overall, it still wasn't enough for the Lakers, and they once again found themselves in the play-in just to lose and have their season end right before their eyes. But it's stuff like this that really makes you think, what if LeBron had more help throughout his career? How would that play out? Well, I put Kobe and LeBron on the same team to figure out that question, so make sure you check that video out.